All right, ladies and gentlemen, we talked about rate of change and slope a couple lessons ago, and today we're going to do finding slope using the slope formula. So just to remind ourselves, the slope formula comes from two ordered pairs, x1, y1, representing the ones representing that it's the first point, and x2, y2 representing that it's the second point. And you do your change in y over your change in x, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, so determine the points of the slope that contains the given points. Okay, we're just going to label them x1, y1, x2, y2. Again, here's our formula. So we just plug them in. Y2 is 0 minus -4 over x2 minus x1, which is -3. Minus a negative is going to turn into plus positive in both of them. So we get a 4 on the top and a 6 on the bottom, and you want to reduce that to 2/3. B, we're going to label our points again, x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay, so we're going to plug those in. 6 minus 8 over 5 minus -5. So we get a 2 minus the negative is going to turn to positive over 10. So 2 over 10 is going to reduce to 1/5. All right, so let's label them up here. x1, y1, x2, y2. 12 minus 6 over 1 minus 0. Okay, so in the numerator we get 12 minus 6 is 6, and in the denominator we get 1 minus 0, which is 1. So our slope ends up being 6 over 1. And so if you're listening, you get the answer to this. If you're just watching, you're missing that answer. All right, x1, y1, x2, y2. So -1 up minus 7 over 2 minus -2. So in the numerator, -9 minus 7 is going to give us a -16. In the denominator, we're going to change that to plus a positive, and you get 4. So we get -16 divided by 4. Again, if you're listening, you know -16 divided by 4 is going to reduce to 4. So there's your slope. All right, determine the points of the slope, of the line that contains the points shown in the table. So here we have 3 x's and 3 y's, and it doesn't matter which ones we pick. And so let's call this x1, y1, and x2, y2. And you could pick this point too if you want. Okay, so plugging in -13 minus 1 over -2 minus 0. So -13 minus 1 gives us a -14 on the top. And in the bottom, we get a -2, so make sure that you reduce that to a +7. All right, then if you look at page 279, we have some graphs there, and they give us ordered pairs. You can use the ordered pairs and the slope formula, or you can just count. And I would say count. It's just as easy. So let's look at F. We're at -7, 5. So to get to my next point, I'm going to go down. So I'm going to count down. Let's see here. So we're up at 5, so we're going to count down 5 and down 2 more. So we're at -7 over, and then we're going to count. We're at -7, so we get to 0, puts us at 7. And then we go 4 more, which puts us at 11. Okay, and that we can't reduce. Looking at G, we are going to start at -6, -5, and so you're going to count up 6 to get to the 0, count up another 4, so we're at 10. No, yeah, let's do this. We're down at -5. I'm going to count up 5 and count up another 4, so it gives us a -9. And then we are going to count, or +9, sorry about that. And we're going to count over. We're at -6. To get to 0, we're at 6, and then counting 5 more to the right, so we get 11. Okay, in H, we see that it's a horizontal line, and so it's just straight across. And so we don't have any rise. My rise is 0, so my top number is 0, and so that means that this slope is 0. So anytime that you have a horizontal line, your slope is automatically 0. If you look at I, it's a vertical line, and so that one, you have no change in your x's, and so your denominator is 0, and we can't divide by 0, so that makes this an undefined slope. So horizontal lines in H are a 0 slope, and vertical lines in I are a undefined slope. Okay, Michael timed a train using a clock. The train traveled a distance of 1/2 mile from t equals 10 seconds to t equals 55 seconds. What was the speed of the train in feet per second? Round to the nearest tenth. Okay, so we want 1/2 a mile, and a mile in feet is 5,280. So 1/2 a mile, you're going to want to divide that by 2, and so 5,280, if we divide that by 2, let's see here, that's 2,640 feet. Okay, so feet per second. So 2,640 feet. And then in seconds, we want from t equals 10 to t equals 55. So that's 45 seconds. And so we need to go ahead and divide these to get it per second. And it says round to the nearest tenth, which is 1 decimal place. And there you have it.